Hello students, today we are going to start another chapter of your book First Flight, that is Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. This chapter is an extract from the autobiography of Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, who was the first black president of South Africa. And here in this chapter, as the very name indicates, Long Walk to Freedom, he has mentioned the country's freedom fight, the freedom movement. He has mentioned his experience, his struggle for the fight of country's independence along with his countrymen. Now we can compare Nelson Mandela with our Gandhiji, the father of the nation. What is the place of Gandhiji in our heart is what Nelson Mandela's place is in the heart of the South African people. Now let us start the chapter. Nelson Mandela has become South Africa's first black president after more than 3 centuries of white rule. Mr. Mandela's African National Congress ANC party won 252 of 400 seats in the first democratic elections of South Africa's history. So Nelson Mandela became the first black president after fighting a long struggle against apartheid. Long means 300 years. They fought for 300 years against the white regime, and ultimately they got the privilege to hold democratic election in their own country. The party to which Nelson Mandela belonged got majority and came to power. The inauguration ceremony took place in the Union Building Amphitheatre in Pretoria today, attended by politicians and dignitaries from more than 140 countries around the world. Never, never again will this beautiful land experience the oppression of one by another, said Nelson Mandela in his speech. The inauguration ceremony was held in a grand way, and people and politicians and dignitaries means a person considered to be important because of high rank. So representing different countries, the people from 140 countries came to see this inauguration program. Jubilant scenes on the streets of Pretoria followed the ceremony with black, white and colored, celebrating together more than 1 lakh South African men, women and children, all races, sang and danced with joy. Inauguration ceremony, people from all over the world came, and that is why that was a conglomeration of black, white as well. South African people were very happy. They came out to celebrate the victory. Almost 1 lakh people came out to celebrate the victory. 10 May dawned bright and clear. For the past few days, I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries and world leaders who were coming to pay their respects before the inauguration. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South African soil. So the inauguration took place on 10th May, and dignitaries and world leaders have already came there to express, to share their joy with the South African people. On that day, Nelson Mandela was surrounded by these world leaders, and he says that it was the largest gathering of international leaders on South Africa. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheatre formed by the Union Buildings in Pretoria. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy, and now it was the site of a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations for the installation of South Africa's first democratic non-racial government. Ceremonies took place in Sandstone Amphitheatre of Pretoria, which is the capital of South Africa. Now, amphitheatre is a building without roof, and the seats are more or less similar to our cinema halls. And it is mentioned that for decades this has been the rule of white supremacy. 1 decade includes 10 years. So as the white ruled 3 centuries, the author has used the word decades. For many years, this building was dominated by the whites, and this is the first time the African occupied the place and they set up a democratic government based on non-racial factors. Non-racial means not based on color of skin. On that lovely autumn day, I was accompanied by my daughter Jinani. On the podium, Mr. D. Clark was sworn in as second deputy president. Then Thabo Mbeki was sworn in as the first deputy president. When it was my turn, I pledged to obey and uphold the constitution and devote myself to the well-being of the republic and its people. To the assembled guests and the watching world, I said, here a question arises, why the 10th May is called Autumn Day? South Africa has lovely climate with plenty of sunny dry days. The month of May brings the end of summer in South Africa. As it is located in southern hemisphere, temperatures are relatively cold, typically in the morning and in the afternoon. So on that day, Mandela was accompanied by his daughter. Accompany means given company by his daughter Jinani, as you can see in the picture. Podium, Mr. de Klerk was sworn in as second deputy president. Podium means a small platform on which a person may stand to be seen by his audience. So here, after de Klerk, Thabo Mbeki was sworn in as first deputy president. Pledge means a solemn promise. So he promised that he would obey the constitution, and in a democratic country it is a must, as you know. And now let's see what is his speech, inaugural speech. Today all of us do by our presence here confer glory and hope to a newborn liberty. Out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud of. Nelson Mandela here expressed his pleasure for breaking the fetters of slavery. His happiness for liberty is expressed in his word, humanity will be proud. Mandela himself spent 30 years in prison, as you know, already got in the very beginning. And by extraordinary human disaster, he refers to the inhuman practice of the apartheid. The white subjugated the blacks for many years. This was like a black scar on their face. They suffered untold misery in those days. We who were outlaws not so long ago have today been given the rare privilege to host the nations of the world on our own soil. We thank all our distinguished international guests for having come to take possession with the people of our country of what is, after all, a common victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity. Because of its policy of apartheid, many countries had earlier broken off the relation with South Africa, the diplomatic ties. Now, on behalf of the South African people, Mandela is thanking the world leaders who came to experience the setup of justice for everyone, peace in the country, and human dignity. Human dignity means state or quality of being worthy of honor. For the first time, the South African could stand with their head high. We have at last achieved our political emancipation. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination. Now, political emancipation. Emancipation is freedom from restriction, as they were under the white regime. Now, in a democratic country is, as you know, it is a welfare country. So, government would see to remove poverty, suffering of people, and remove the discrimination regarding caste, creed, religion, sex, language, and whatnot. Never and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. The sun shall never set us on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa. So at last he hoped that the black days were gone and the good things would happen in their country with the installation of a democratic government. Chapter is a long one, so wait for the next part in my next videos, and I have given you the question answers from oral comprehension checkup to the thinking about the text. Please take a screenshot and subscribe for the next videos. Thank you.